Profiles, a show about living in Atlanta and purchasing a home here. Atlanta Community Profiles is hosted by Lou Whelan, who will talk to experts who know this ever-changing city and its real estate industry. We'll talk to mayors, community leaders, and residential real estate experts. Now, here's Lou Whelan with this week's Atlanta Community Profiles.
Hello and welcome to our show. My name is Lou Whelan. I publish the official relocation guides on Atlanta on behalf of the First Multiple Listing Service of Atlanta. And we have magazines for the metro area and metro area wide. And also we have others for areas like Gwinnett County, where we publish one in cooperation with the Gwinnett Chamber of Commerce, one for North Fulton, in partnership with the North Fulton Chamber of Commerce and FMLS, one for Cobb County in partnership with the Cobb Association of Realtors, and one for Inside 285. They're available on my website, atlantacommunityprofiles.com, as well as available free of charge in real estate brokerage firms and chambers of commerce. And so basically, I'm also a realtor with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Georgia Properties. My website is louwhelan.com. If I can help you with any of your real estate needs, residential, commercial, or investment properties, please let me know. I would love to be of service to you. And overall, through October, for detached housing, the sales were up 4%, prices were up 5%, inventory is down 11%. The average price of detached housing for the metro area is $290,988. So it's a huge increase over where we were back in 2012 at the low of the market. And every week, as you know, we interview community leaders, people who are contributing to the well-being of our city. And today, it is my great honor to have back on the show Mike Boyce, Chairman of the Board of Commissioners for Cobb County. Welcome back to the show, Mike. Great to have you.
Thanks, Louis. Good to be back.
Last time you were on, you were just kind of getting your feet wet, new, and I think you came in office in January, and you were on the show in like February, I think so.
Yes,
really, we were one of the first people to actually interview on the air, and so he's thank you for your service to the military. He had a career in the military.
It was an honor to serve my country as a Marine, and it's my honor to be the chairman of Cobb County.
Marine experience. He supervised 800 Marines at one time, a deputy commander of Marine Base with mayor-like responsibilities for over 10,000 military and civilian personnel. More than you supervise now. How many do you supervise now over there?
Well, it's interesting. Most people don't realize is that Cobb County is a county manager-centered government. So the reality is that virtually all the employees for the county, not the constitutional officers, but for the county, they all work for the county manager, whereas the only people who work directly for the board are people like the county attorney and the county clerk, and I supervise a total of 3 people.
3 people? Well, that's a whole lot.
A little bit different.
How's that? A lot different from 10,000 people.
Yeah, it is. But the leadership and management skills that you bring to being a Marine commander are virtually the same as to being a county chairman.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So you have a bachelor's from Notre Dame and a master's from Pepperdine, and a graduate of the Naval War College. You have 3 children and 4 grandchildren.
And I was very fortunate to be able to see my 2 grand princesses over Thanksgiving. So I don't get to see much of them anymore. The job pretty much owns me.
Do they live in Atlanta?
No, my oldest son lives with his family in Iowa, and my daughter lives with her family in Michigan, and then my youngest son is still not married.
Oh, and is he here locally?
No, he's in Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh, well, that's a good, nice down there.
He likes it there.
In the wintertime especially, I'm sure. You know, Mike, in your area, the prices have gone up quite a bit in Cobb County.
Yes.
Even though you have the lowest millage rate in town,
yes,
in the metro area.
Right.
But the prices are still going up. They hit a bottom in January of 2012 and have continued to rise ever since. And in Cobb County now, the average or the median price for detached and attached True, let's see, True, where's the figure for that? Is like 250,000, I believe. Is 255,000 for sales, dashed and detached, and the prices have gone up quite a bit, and I don't know what the forecast is for Cobb specifically.
Well, we're definitely feeling the halo effect of the new development in Cumberland area with the Braves Stadium and Battery Park. The prices, we call it the halo effect, within 5 miles of that area have reflected a very robust and hot real estate market. And as a matter of fact, we probably this year in Cobb County built out over 1.8 million square feet of new commercial real estate, and then we've permitted roughly a little over 500 new residential units, and they all range in prices from about $250,000 all the way up to $1 million. And that's good and bad. It had the downside is that affordable housing is a big challenge in the county, as it is in the Atlanta metro area, and it's really had an impact on us being able to buy green space under our parks bond, because people now realize that the real estate market is back, and we can only buy property at the appraised value of land, whereas people, I'm sure, realizing that the market is back, are willing to want to sell it at the market value. But we're making inroads. We bought some new properties this year for green space, which both lends to total air quality management of our county, but also shapes some of the development, make sure that we have what I call reasonable development rather than overgrowth.
See, but you didn't buy it back in 2013 because in December of 2013 the price was $197. Yes. Now it's $255 for residential median price. So I guess if I were you, I would buy as much as I can as quickly as I can, because at that rate of growth, it's going to be harder and harder to buy parkland.
Well, fortunately, we also had a bond in 2006 that we bought property. So I think the county's done a good job of being able to invest wisely the taxpayers' money with regard to properties like this for the green space and future parks property.
Mm-hmm. Well, you have phenomenal county over there. I think the second largest school district in the state of Georgia.
I think you're right.
Second largest in the state. And
I just want to do a shout out to our school system, because a couple of weeks ago there was an article I think in the AJC about the 41. There was 41 schools in Georgia that were on the endangered list, or sure that was probably the wrong term, but they were curiously problem schools, and not one of those schools was in Cobb County. So I think it's a remarkable show of leadership by not only the Cobb County and the Marietta school districts boards, but also by the teachers and the staff. So my hat's off to everyone involved in the education system in Cobb County.
15 Cobb schools have earned National Blue Ribbon School Awards, and 33 have been named Georgia Schools of Excellence. One of the reasons you guys attribute such phenomenal quality of education is because of your extremely high PTA participation.
Absolutely right. The parents, I strictly believe that the number one difference about a child being successful in his life starts at the early learning in school and making sure he has parental support. And we spend a lot of time. I know that the PTAs are, of course, involved in that. The county provides funding for programs that lend themselves to that. I would, it's probably just an opinion, but I'm probably not too far off, that I think that education is one of the main reasons people want to move to Cobb, and drives the kind of home markets that we have right now.
Now, the city of Marietta has their own school district.
They do, yes, and they have a brand new superintendent in Grant Rivera, and he's doing a super job.
I've met him, actually. He is trying to get him to come on the show. Your population is 741,000. The millage rate is, the last time I checked, was around 7.5. Is that?
Our millage rate last year was 6.76 for the general fund.
So it has come down, actually.
Right.
Last time I checked, it was 7 point. So it's interesting. I've got it in my magazine last time. It's 7 point. So it's actually come down. And so tell me, when we come back after the break, I know my producer is giving me the evil eye over there, but we'd like to talk about commercial space.
Sure, absolutely.
And availability in the southwest part of the county for growth.
All right.
And where land is reasonably priced, and there's plenty of it.
Sure.
And it's close to I-20 for good transportation.
And we have two good mayors that are really are putting out the welcoming market. Matt.
Okay, so stay tuned. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back. I'm sitting here with Mike Boyce, Chairman of the Board of Commissioners for Cobb County. And the municipalities in Cobb County are Ackworth, Austell, Kennesaw, Marietta, and Powder Springs.
And Smyrna.
And Smyrna. Did
Smyrna.
I not mention?
Don't forget Smyrna.
Smyrna. Yeah, I know.
Mayor Bacon will be calling me right now if I forget him.
No. And they're now, I think, they're the number one largest municipality in the county.
I think they haven't quite caught Marietta, but they're running up on real quick.
Really, we had somebody on here, and he's saying if we're not there now, we're going to be there.
It's pretty close,
soon.
absolutely.
They're growing faster than Marietta.
It's like Kennesaw State will very soon be larger than the University of Georgia in school population.
Yeah, that's what I did hear.
That's just another amazing aspect of Cobb County.
So, you live in Marietta, right? Or you live in East Cobb?
East Cobb,
East
right.
Cobb, pretty much. And there's no city called East Cobb.
No, there isn't. Years ago, there was a city there called Chattahoochee Plantation. But in the late 90s, that went away, and it just became unincorporated Cobb.
Now, one of the things I know that you brag about a lot is, and not you, but I mean not only you, but everybody in Cobb County, is your parkland. Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit about the state of your parks.
Well, we're very blessed, for one thing, that we already have two national parks, the Kennesaw National Battlefield Monument, and then, of course, Chattahoochee River Recreation Area. But the county, over time, has been procuring green space, so that we can, it's part of our mechanism, part of our comprehensive plan, to try and control the development, and also ensure that future generations have opportunities to enjoy the amenities of the county. And we passed a park bond in 2006, and then we passed one in 2008. But because of the recession, at that time, Chairman Olins decided not to ask the board to fund that bond. But it was one of my campaign commitments that if I was elected, I would ask the board to pass on, and we did that. And because of the way the bond language was structured, we could only get $27 million out of the $40 million that the people approved in 2008. But with the $27 million, we've already procured 3 parcels, and we have a number more under contract right now, but we're doing our due diligence. But there's some really nice properties out there, and I'm very pleased that the people of Cobb sometimes, rather than take the money, will take the vision in the future and will sell us to their land at the appraised value, which is what we have to buy it at, not at the market value.
Is there a big difference, do you find?
Yes,
in that
absolutely.
In praised and market?
The market value, yes, there is, right. Especially right now because, again, of the halo effect of not just, I think, of Braves and SunTrust Park and Battery Park, but the overall programs like in Kennesaw and Ackworth, Smyrna. They have done an incredible job. They've had a generational vision of bringing both the multi-use developments to their part of the county and their municipal areas, and that has also increased the value of land around those cities. So whether it was intended or not, there's a lot of elements working together here to really make this a really, really great county to live in, and we see that in people moving to the county on a regular basis.
Inventory is really at one of the lowest it's ever been since we started recording inventory levels as realtors, and I'm sure that makes it even more difficult to acquire land for parks.
It is, but we want to have more commercial property on our tax digest than residential, because of the fact that commercial brings in more revenue than residentials do, and the services they require are less than residentials. So we have about a 60-40 split right now, and that's a great ratio to make sure that we continue to have a low millage rate, and the fact that we also have great blocks of the county, the Cumberland CID, the Town Center CID, the Franklin Gateway, which Mayor Tumblin has put together now, and where the Atlanta United is, and other areas other companies have moved into as this area's redeveloped. We have the Six Flags redevelopment area down in the southwest part of the county. So we have four what I'd say commercial attraction areas that have structures in place where the existing commercial owners are self-taxing themselves to make those areas more attractive to have outside people come in. And I just invite people to visit all these areas to see the great things that are happening in those four developments.
Mm-hmm. Well, one thing, too, I know is the growing aspect of our segment of the population is the active adult market. Mm-hmm. And your millage rate makes it very attractive to active adults. And you also deduct, they get a discount, too, on the taxes. How does that work?
Yeah, well, that's a great point. As we know in Cobb County, we have two very attractive tax features. One of them is called the homeowner's exemption, which is when you buy a house there, you can apply for a $10,000 deduction from the home value, that the appraised value of the house, the assessed value of the house, which you're taxed against. But then, for general fund purposes only, that's what you're taxed against until you sell the house. So if you bought a house in 2000 for $300,000, in 2017, your general fund assessment was against $190,000, not $200,000.
Doesn't go up every year.
So it doesn't go up with the tax digest, with the tax assessment. Now we have these other parts of our millage rate: the fire fund, the parks bond, and then the school bond. All right. Now they draw their tax rates against the full appraised value of the house until you reach 62, and then you're exempt from the school bond. So those two items right there,
which is a big factor, too.
Yeah, well,
it's a big
that means almost 20% of your tax goes away because you no longer have to pay for that.
Yeah, it's pretty significant.
And I think that's one of the reasons seniors like to come to Cobb County. Mm-hmm. The second thing is that we have not we've chosen the capitalistic route of letting the market drive the market. So rather than go out and buy properties and try to bring in address the older population, we've been improving zonings called residential senior livings. We have over 55 of those in the area. And what they are is they're specially designed for people of my generation. I'm a baby boomer, to move into smaller houses, around 1,500 to 2,000 square feet, usually one story, and they're in clusters though. So you might have four houses attached together by their garages, and so we've spread those out throughout the county too. So yeah, it's a very attractive place to come, Cobb County. But the school board, obviously is, they're not a big fan of that because they don't collect any revenue from people that are 62 and older. But that's all part of living in America, and we all find our ways to meet our revenue needs.
So We would like to talk a little bit about the commercial real estate market over there. Mike, what is the state of the market? I know the Brave Stadium has contributed a great deal to the increased values and attractiveness.
Absolutely, and particularly because the Braves, particularly the SunTrust Park, the Battery Park, they have multi-use developments there. Those are all apartments for rent there. And my understanding, not only are they all rented out, but they're all rented out at very good prices. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, it's near shopping areas. It has immediate access practically to I-75. But there's that. I think that's the same. You could say that in any one of the rest of the part of the county, whether you go to town center, and we're trying to do that also down on the south part of the Cobb at the Six Flags development.
When we get back after the break, I'm going to ask the commissioner if he could give us a feel for the commercial and residential real estate market in the southwest portion of the county, because phenomenal opportunities do exist there. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back. I'm Lou Whelan, sitting here with Mike Boyce, Chairman of the Board of Commissioners for Cobb County. And we talked a little bit earlier, by the way. If you missed any part of the show, it's on my website without commercial interruption, just AtlantaCommunityProfiles.com. And so the Braves, we talked about the Braves having a phenomenally valuable impact on the county, not just where it happens to be located there, but how far out does that go? Do you think about most of the impact is within 10 miles? Or
we have certainly, we call it the halo effect within 5 miles. 5 miles. Radius of 5 miles. But the reality is that it's just one of the driving factors for increasing real estate prices throughout the county. Mm-hmm. Obviously, there's no way to dilute or even try to downplay the transformational change that the SunTrust Stadium and Battery Park have brought. But I think it just fits into the overall story about Cobb is right now. As I tell everybody, it's a safe place to work, live, recreate, and pursue your dreams.
Yeah. The prices of real estate are going up. Builders can't build houses fast enough. But over there in one part of your county, you have a great deal of affordable land for residential and commercial. I wonder if you wouldn't mind just addressing that aspect of Cobb County.
Sure. Well, as you know, we have 4 districts in Cobb County, and we have South Cobb is, for a number of reasons, has had its challenges. But I'm really pleased to say that the board has, through its SPLOST projects, has provided funds for infrastructure improvements down there. Former Chairman Bill Byrne, years ago, through his efforts, created some pads down there where business could build on. And right now we're seeing the fruit of that foresight. HD Supply FedEx has moved down there, brought a White House down there. South Cobb in permits for residential is tied with West Cobb for the number of permits that were issued in 2017, and we're talking permits again from $200,000 up to $700,000. So the market is just as hot down there. The infrastructure is like I was talking about. We have a number of attractions that were down there. We have 2 really motivated mayors who are doing everything they possibly can to bring in more business, and Al Thurman in Powder Springs, Joe Jerkins in Austell. So everybody is trying to work together through their chambers, through what we're doing in the county, and through private investment to bring people to the south part, and we're seeing the results of that. not just in infrastructure, but of course the county's also funded some recreational and cultural facilities down there. We're improving Mabel House. So I think that again, we're all working together for the same common cause. And I would tell anybody in a heartbeat that if you're looking for a place to live and to bring your business, South Cobb is as good a place to any right now as the rest of the county.
Maybe if you're looking for a low price too, and you need a lot of land, that would be, but warehousing, for example.
Absolutely, and those pads are already down there, particularly down around the Six Flags area.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of opportunity down there to bring your business and be connected to a major thoroughway in I-20.
Right, that with the warehousing industry, that's
absolutely
particularly valuable.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have to talk about transit, obviously, because that's obviously a big factor. Education and transportation is the
right.
two biggest topics these days. Tell us a little bit about the state of transit in Cobb County. And
well, what we've done is I'm trying to, through the use of our 2040 comprehensive plan and by my statements in a public forum, to let people know that we're open to partnering to address the transit issues. But Cobb is very, very fiscally conservative, and in order for us to spend the money on any kind of a large program, whether it be transportation or anything else, the taxpayer has to be convinced that it's going to benefit them too. So it's not a county where the north part of the county is going to spend money on the south part of the county unless the north part of the county derives some benefit too. So whatever we do to market a transit option, we have to convince the voters that it's going to benefit all of them. And so we're in the very early stages of that because we're just part of a larger discussion which is going on in the region right now about how to just address the traffic issues. There's no question about it. You don't have to do a large long-term or short-term study to see that we have a serious traffic issue in the county. And we're probably going to have to address our traffic management issues using SPLOST dollars in 2021 when the current SPLOST runs out. As far as transit goes, I have Commissioner Rod has been working with the state on those issues, how to address those. We're obviously talking on a general way with MARTA and the state GDOT and Greta about these issues. So right now, what I can say is that we're open for discussion, and I mean that in all options discussion. But we're a long way from any kind of concrete kind of approach to how we're going to address this issue.
A lot of construction going on over on 575, and we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. Yeah, that's good. I'm glad you mentioned it. When we come back, we could talk about that.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back. We're having a lively conversation with the chairman of the Board of Commissioners for Cobb County. And if you missed any of the show, it's on my site, AtlantaCommunityProfiles.com, without commercials. And Mike, I see a lot of construction on 575. Give us an update on that, please.
Yes, that's the Georgia Department of Transportation's Managed Lanes project. And it's going to go from Acres Mill, at least for our part of the county, from Acres Mill up 575 to Sixes Road. That goes up obviously into Cherokee, and then up 75 it goes up to by Wade Green. Although there's going to be a separate exit there, a place called Hickory Grove. And we're really excited about this because for the Cobb part from 75 down to Acres Mill. Greta is building a facility there that's going to allow the express buses to leave from Wade Green, Hickory Grove, get on these managed lanes and head south, get on the HOV when it gets off the managed lanes at Acres Mill, and take you right into Atlanta. And if you're a car, obviously you can use the managed lanes in the morning going south and the evening going north. And it'll be, you have to peach pass and it'll be prorated on how much of that you use. But I look at the managed lanes as removing any need to bring any kind of fixed rail or light rail up into that part of the county. I figure that the stream of buses going down the managed lanes in the morning will take the place of any kind of requirement to spend, literally hundreds of millions of dollars, if not more, on a rail system. And you'd have to buy very expensive property to do that.
Not realistic.
No, I think as much as anyone would want to do that, it'd be cost prohibitive. But I'm convinced we're going to be pushing real hard. People get on that bus, get out your iPad or your favorite book and read it on the way down to Atlanta.
Yeah, they do it in other cities. New York. I lived in New York and Chicago. Everybody, they're in major cities.
Yeah. I'm very pleased to see what Greta's doing to get ahead of this, to make sure that we have a system ready in place when it opens up. Right now, September of 2018.
So, key thing about living in any area is the recreation, arts, entertainment, cultural attractions,
right.
And especially the millennium generation. They are very into that. So tell us a little bit about that aspect of life in Cobb County.
Well, I think for the millennials, what I would tell everybody in a heartbeat is if you want to go somewhere where you're going to be close to work, where you want to live close to where you want to go to eat or enjoy yourself, then Smyrna, Kennesaw, and Acworth is the place to go. They have really, like I said, every one of those mayors has had a vision of how to recreate their city to attract the new generation of America. As far as the broader outlook goes, you start down the south part of the county in Six Flags. You come up to the center part, where of course we have Atlanta. We have the Battery and SunTrust Park, but we also have the Cobb Energy Center, and which has had almost 300 performances last year in their art center there. Of course, the Galleria is a number of places that host all kinds of conventions. We obviously have up the north part of the county, we have Whitewater, and then, I'm not going to take credit for this, but Bartow has, Emerson, up in Emerson, they have the Lake Point, where I got a tour of that last spring, and they're amazing what they brought in there already. As far as cultural events, of course, the county is putting up a brand new exhibition hall at Jim Miller Park. The Cobb Civic Center and Genesee Theater have been renovated, and of course downtown Marietta on the square has all kinds of theaters. And then of course let's not forget about Kennesaw, and then every one of the Kennesaw State has opportunities to do things, and every one of the cities though has some kind of events during the year. So take your pick. No matter where you go, you have the opportunity to see great plays or to go to great events.
A little known fact is that tourism in your county is over a $2 billion industry.
Right. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because I'm working very close with Holly Quinlan, who's the CEO of the Cobb Tourism Travel, to bring additional funding for her program. If you compare her with some of the other great centers in the southeast part of the country, she's grossly underfunded for what she does. She has a really hard-working staff, and it's amazing what they do. We're working very closely right now with some people from the film industry to bring more of their programs to the county. And like I said, Cobb is, whether it's in January or December, there's things to do, and we have the right people pushing it.
The tourism industry generates over 25,000 jobs in your county, which is the largest industry in Cobb County. So it's amazing. Congratulations on. I heard recently that a high percentage of the people who attend Braves games are from out of state or out of the metro area at least. Oh,
I'm sure it's true, but I think it's also important to remember we have over 200,000 people every day that come into Cobb to work or to shop. So we're kind of a pass-through, but we also in a place where 740,000 people live. So the reality is that every day I run with my board and my staff close to 1 million people in the county every day. We deal with those.
So what is your vision for this county over the next? We only have my producer's telling me
we're done.
Hold it down, but we have. What is the vision for the
My
next
vision
few years?
is very simply put. I want Cobb County to be the choice destination where people can safely work, live, play, and pursue their dreams. And we work every day to accomplish that goal. And everything we do in our county is to provide the customer service to people who live there and come and visit us. Let them know that we welcome them. We're glad they're here, and we want them to stay and to enjoy what we have in the county.
The airport is another thing we didn't get to, but I know you're very proud of that airport, and you told me earlier that
every hangar there is rented out, and we're going to expand the runways there to accommodate the new G5s. Like I said, it's a great day to be in Cobb, and just to enjoy it. Come on down and enjoy what we have.
Thanks for your service to the community. I know you work hard and you put in some long hours, and we appreciate your service. Thanks,
Lou. It's good to be back with you again.
And now stay tuned for Dr. Bill Williams, Chairman and CEO of Swanee Dental Care, our dental health expert.